Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Man, oh man, talk about a plan backfiring. I'm referring to Joe Biden, or probably Joe Biden's handler's plan, of picking Kamala Harris as his then running mate and now vice president. I mean, who would have seen this one coming, that Kamala Harris would be such a monumental disaster? One of the most unlikable politicians is probably a better way to say it. One of the most cringe politicians. And of course, her track record isn't great either, filled with abuses of power, scandals, bad decision-making, and some people even say corruption. We all knew Kamala Harris was bad. Frankly, I didn't think that she would be this bad. To have the standards set so low, for people to expect the cackling and the weird, cringy behavior, and her to just be a generic Democrat, that was one thing. But the sheer level of incompetence and inability to speak, the incoherence, Kamala Harris continues to set the bar even lower and surprise everyone as to just how incompetent she truly is. It's gotten so bad for her that now even the Democrats are pushing to dump her. What's left? They want to dump Biden, they want to dump Kamala Harris. What do they have? Who do they have? Little Pete Buttigieg. And the hopes of California Governor Gavin Newsom running, it's looking more and more grim for the Democrats, as now even Bill Maher goes on the record on a rant, calling to dump Kamala Harris. But folks, before we get into anything, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. Listen friends, inflation. We're talking about record-setting inflation that's absolutely hammering everyday Americans, and now the situation we're facing is possibly even more grim. Not only runaway inflation, but a possible recession right around the corner as the Fed continues to increase interest rates. Well, probably the best way to say it, a Biden recession. Well folks, in troubled economic times, you need to protect your wealth and you need to protect your future. And that's why I'm teaming up with the only precious metal dealer that I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and physical silver, and the best part is that it's incredibly easy. All it takes to get started is one short phone call, and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. And you know that you can trust American Hartford Gold because they're the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the BBB and thousands of satisfied clients. And here's the cherry on top of all of it, as an exclusive offer for this community, they'll give you up to $1,500 of free silver and a free safe on qualifying orders. So don't wait folks, call them now at 844-440-1005, that's 844-440-1005, or text Hivemind to 65532, again that's Hivemind to 65532, Hivemind one word. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. Alright folks, so you gotta admit it, regardless of what side Bill Maher's on, the guy is on a winning streak. Gotta give credit where credit is due, at least he's honest. And on his most recent show, he absolutely excoriated Kamala Harris as a human being and as a politician. Take a look at this.
Could see is replacing the vice president because she's just not very popular anywhere, and it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket, a lot of people.
Tulsi Gabbard, remember that was that moment in the debate where she brought up that there are men and women in California that are in prison for these, pot deals, and then she was laughing about getting high on the radio station. And it was just like Tulsi Gabbard was like this heat-seeking missile. That was the end of it. She's got a lot of, in addition to being, for some reason, an off-putting person, she also has, I think, a lot of baggage that probably wouldn't do well under a lot of scrutiny.
I just think she's a bad politician, and I think she's a very bright person, but I don't know, but I can see them doing that, because a lot of the problem with Biden being old is, if he dies, then, you're going to get this person. Okay, so here's the problem with the Democratic Party. They're so boxed in by identity politics that you cannot conceive of a Democratic ticket that doesn't have a woman, person of color on it, and pretty soon you're going to line up behind that gay, Latino, and you're going to have, a deaf Eskimo be a deaf Eskimo.
He absolutely owned Kamala Harris as well as Democrats and Democrat voters. And surprisingly enough, even called out the whole identity politics element, the affirmative action element, which got them in the position that they are in the first place. Picking Kamala Harris wasn't a decision based on talent. It was purely done for demographics, to make Joe Biden seem like he was still down with the cause. His connection to Obama was one thing, possibly fading, maybe not super relevant to younger voters, and so of course, picking Kamala Harris was a pander to young socialist voters and young voters who care about identity politics or identity in general. It was an attempted pull of the black vote, of course. Funny how Kamala Harris throughout her career was generally referred to as an Indian American, the first Indian American woman to do X, and then all of a sudden as she became Joe Biden's running mate, well, Kamala Harris's primary identity suddenly became black. I wonder why that is. The whole thing is just ridiculous, and now Democrats are forced to deal with reality, suffer the consequences of their bad decision making. I always use the same metaphor: you got in this marriage, and now you have to go through the awkward divorce, and trust me, it's going to happen. The Democrats are left with no choice. Donald Trump is currently dominating Joe Biden across the board in almost every single hypothetical matchup 2024 presidential race poll. Joe Biden is getting clobbered by Donald Trump, and Trump really isn't making too many public appearances. He's not even campaigning. It's just the idea of Trump is beating the current grim reality of Joe Biden. Well, when it comes to Kamala Harris, Donald Trump is not just beating her. I mean, she's losing by 10 points in almost all of the polls. I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton is performing better than Kamala Harris. So now you have this very awkward situation where it looks like the current Democrat ticket, the current Democrat White House, is on an inevitable path towards defeat heading into the next presidential election cycle. And so Democrats are faced with only one decision: to just stick it through and stick with these two, or to cut these two and remake the team. Either scenario is probably not going to be too great for the Democrats. If we start to see a struggle for power, and trust me, it's going to be a struggle, that's not exactly going to be a look that instills confidence in the majority of voters' minds. If Democrats see a dysfunctional Democrat Party with all kinds of different groups vying for power, what it's going to inevitably lead to is a messy primary season. And just looking at the power struggle that's currently happening in the Republican Party between the neocon fossils of old and the ultra-MAGA America First patriots that are currently rising, we've seen the effect that a messy internal primary has in places like Arizona and other states. It leads to a rough start, to say the least. Well, the Democrats are on path for a really rough start ahead of 2024, and it might be too much of a crutch to overcome, because the reality is here, as Democrats get weaker and weaker and weaker, we're in a Republican environment. Donald Trump is rising. With 2020 hindsight, people are waking up and switching parties like never before, and so I think the options between going back to the Trump era of economic boom, success, prosperity, freedom, and strong foreign policy in respect to lame duck Joe Biden's recession and stacking crises, well, that decision's going to be pretty damn clear. And then, of course, once again, the decision between Donald Trump and a future Democrat wildcard, a Democrat unknown in a Democrat political downturn, well, again, I think leftoids are in a very bad position moving forward, and they have no one to blame but themselves. You chose this guy.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put. Imagine had the tobacco industry been immune to being sued. Come on.
Who chose this woman.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time. Governor Hochul, where is she? There you are. Hello, Governor. Thank you for welcoming me. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, thank you. Wow. In San Francisco.
To lead your party. You made the decision, you made your bed, and now you gotta sleep in it. That's just the reality. You cannot escape consequences of your decision making. Even though that's a core belief of Democrat culture and philosophy, that decisions don't have consequences. Well, in the real world, outside of your liberal utopia fantasy, consequences exist. The Democrat establishment is cratering. The woke left is cratering. The question is, when it comes to the left wing, what isn't and what's left? left? What will be left standing after everything that we're seeing crumbles down to the ground? Well, that'll be another story for another time. We'll have to see exactly where this whole thing goes. That's what I got for you guys, though. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you guys are up for it. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.